Welcome back, my dear students. Today we will be talking about the factors affecting the rate of diffusion. First of all, we know that the particles or molecules of a substance, they are able to diffuse because of the kinetic energy. So any factor that affects the kinetic energy of the particles of a substance, obviously that factor will affect the rate of diffusion. First of all, we will discuss the effect of temperature on the rate of diffusion. Okay, temperature. We know that the kinetic energy of the particles or molecules of a substance, they depend on temperature. If you are going to increase the temperature of a substance, it is kinetic energy will increase. And if you decrease the temperature of a substance, the kinetic energy of the constituent particles is going to decrease. Okay. So by increasing the temperature, you are increasing the kinetic energy of the constituent particles, and this increase in kinetic energy of the constituent particles in turn will increase their rate of diffusion. So there is a direct relationship between kinetic energy, temperature and rate of diffusion of a of the particles of a substance. Okay. Second is density. The second factor that affects the rate of diffusion is density of diffusing substance. How much dense a substance is, it also determines its rate of diffusion. If a substance is more dense, its rate of diffusion will be less, and if it is less dense, it is light, its rate of diffusion will be more. Okay. This was given by Graham in the form of a law which is known as Graham's law of diffusion, which states that the rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to the square root of density of the diffusing substance. Okay, d is inversely proportional to 1 over under root d. Okay, this d represents the rate of diffusion of the substance or particles of the substance, and d, this small d, it represents the rate of the density of the diffusing particles. If the density of the diffusing particles is more, rate of diffusion will be less, and if density of diffusing particles is less, rate of diffusion will be more. Okay. Then the third factor which affects the rate of diffusion is the medium in which diffusion occurs. Okay. How much dense the medium is in which diffusion occurs, it also determines the rate of diffusion. The rate of diffusion is slower if the medium through which diffusion occurs is dense and vice versa. That means अगर आपके पास एक medium है वो dense है, okay, there is, you have a large number of particles in that substance which are compactly placed, and you have another substance in which the particles are far apart from each other, the rate of diffusion will be more in less dense substance, less dense medium, and it will be less in more dense medium, because in more dense medium the diffusing particles, they have to encounter a large number of collisions with the particles of the substance, while as here in less dense substance it will encounter a less number of collisions, and hence its rate of diffusion will be more. For example, हम गैस की बात करेंगे. A gas diffuses more rapidly through vacuum than air. If you are going to diffuse the same gas first through vacuum and then through air, okay, in air, since there are a large number of particles, there are a large number of gases, the particles or molecules of these gases, they will collide with the molecules that are diffusing, and hence their rate of diffusion will be less. While as in case of vacuum, there is nothing, it is totally empty. Okay, the particles, the diffusing particles, they do not encounter any collision, उनको किसी के साथ collision नहीं होता है, and because of this absence of collisions, okay, the rate of diffusion in this vacuum will be more. Okay. इसी तरह diffusion is rapid in gas than liquid and solid. If you have three media, one is solid, then liquid, then you have gas. In gas you have few number of particles, in liquid you have relatively more number of particles, they are relatively compactly placed, and in gas you have the highest degree of compaction, that means it is more dense as compared to liquid, and liquid is more dense as compared to gas. So obviously the rate of diffusion will be more in gas, then it will be intermediate in liquid, and it will be least in solid. Okay. And finally the diffusion pressure gradient. It implies the application of concentration differences between the points of diffusion. Say you have 2 points, one is A and one second is B. Okay, there is a concentration difference. Here at point A, the concentration of substance, for example S, it is more, and here at point B, the concentration of substance S is less. Okay, how much concentration difference exists between points A and B, it also determines the rate of diffusion. If the concentration difference between points A and B is more, the rate of diffusion will be more, and if it is less, the rate of diffusion will be less. So simply stated, diffusion pressure gradient tells you that rate of diffusion is also affected by the concentration difference between the points of diffusion. And finally, the significance of diffusion in plants. Diffusion is vital for the existence of plants because it helps the plant in the gas-phase exchange and some other vital functions without which the plant cannot exist. For example, first one, the exchange of gases. During photosynthesis and respiration, it occurs by the principle of diffusion. Say this is a leaf, okay? During photosynthesis, the carbon dioxide, it enters from outside, from the atmosphere to the inside of the leaf because of simple process of diffusion. And during respiration, the carbon dioxide moves outside from leaves, okay, from the respirating tissues of plants because of diffusion. And one more important feature is during photosynthesis, when carbon dioxide gets into the leaf, okay, there is also the production of oxygen, and this oxygen is released into the atmosphere by the simple process of diffusion. So you can understand, had there been no diffusion of carbon dioxide from atmosphere into the leaf, there would have been no photosynthesis and the plant would have died. Okay. The second important significance of diffusion in plants is the cooling effect caused by transpiration in plants is a result of diffusion. You know that transpiration is the loss of water vapors from the leaves, okay, and this loss of water vapors occurs by diffusion. It occurs by diffusion, okay. And now you can understand, अगर transpiration नहीं होती because of diffusion, okay, what would have happened? The leaves, they would have been injured because of excessive heat, okay. Transpiration से होता क्या है? The leaves, they get cool, okay, and had there been no transpiration, had there been no diffusion of water vapors from the leaves to the outside, the leaves would have been destroyed by excessive heat. And finally, the aroma of leaves, the aroma of flowers attracts pollinators by diffusion. During the season of pollination, the flowers of plants, they diffuse aromatic substances into the air, and these aromatic substances, they attract the pollinators. So you can say that diffusion is indirectly related to the pollination of plants. Okay, अगर ये substances diffuse नहीं होते, अगर ये aromatic substances diffuse नहीं होते, तो pollinators attract नहीं होते, and when pollinators are not attracted, the plants will fail to reproduce. Okay, this is all about the factors affecting rate of diffusion and the significance of diffusion in plants. I hope you all understand this. See you soon with the next lesson. Till then, stay blessed and thank you.